Good morning, representatives of the press. It's with an abundance of pleasure that I welcome you here this morning to this pre-conference press conference. I'm delighted to do so on behalf of the Barbados Labour Party. We'd also like to extend greetings to those viewers who may be joining us overseas at this time via the World Wide Web. We're delighted to have with us this morning, on my left and my immediate left, our conference chairman and MP for St. Michael West, Comrade Chris Gibbs. On his left is Comrade Wendy Knight Hunt, who is the president of the Women's League. On my immediate right is our new Chief Executive Officer, Comrade Patricia Paris. And on my extreme right is Comrade Corey Lane, who is the MP for the city of Bridgetown. By way of format, we will begin on our conference chair, Comrade Chris Gibbs, who will give us a conference overview. And that will be followed by Comrade Patricia Paris, who will deal with certain aspects of the conference arrangements. And then our introductory remarks will be concluded by Comrade Corey Lane, who will give us the keys to Queen's Park in his capacity as MP for the city of Bridgetown. Following that, there will be a Q&A session, a question and answer session, during which we would like you to be very disciplined, members of the press, very disciplined, and keep your questions specifically to the upcoming conference. Okay? Following the Q&A, there will be an accommodation for any member of the press who would wish to do a one-on-one, perhaps, with Comrade Patricia Paris, who has just been recently appointed our Chief Executive Officer. As you're probably aware, the Barbados Labour Party has not had a CEO for some years now. So in order to get the ball rolling, we'll invite our conference chair, Comrade Chris Gibbs, to give us a conference overview. Comrade Chris.
Thank you. Thanks, Comrade Ricardo. First of all, I'd like to say to everyone in attendance and online that it is an honor indeed to have been chosen to be the conference chair for this year's annual conference. It was a great pleasure to work alongside fellow comrades on the conference committee. They were very experienced, and as the new kid on the block, I learned a thing or two from them. Now, this year is the 83rd Barbados Labour Party's annual conference in its 84th year of existence. So this year is our 84th anniversary. Now, normally, these two numbers would match. Unfortunately, last year, we did not have an annual conference, primarily because of COVID-19. So this is our chance to refresh and renew and revitalize. This year's conference theme is Riding Rough Waves with Resilience, Taking Fresh Guard. Now, this theme embodies the fact that the nation is obviously encountering challenging times. A lot of global issues have been bearing down on our nation, and we are a resilient people. And we can overcome these challenges because this resilience largely was inherited from our forefathers. So together, we will make it. Taking fresh guard largely means that we are looking to the future, and we also will do so together, and we will look to the future with fresh eyes ever so mindful of our past. So the last time we had a full conference was in 2019. This year's location is at Queen's Park, and the dates are from October the 21st to October the 23rd. Now, the last full conference was also at Queen's Park. This was in 2019, and that date and time and location has of personal importance to myself, because in 2019 I won the nomination to be the candidate for the constituency of St. Michael West. So I was in attendance at that time, and I can remember thinking to myself that, I seeing the camaraderie and, how well the conference was put together by the party, I really felt as though it was the right choice for me to make, and I felt good about taking that path. And now I'm the duly elected representative for St. Michael West. I'm ever so proud to be conference chair at this time. Now, what I want to do is jump right into the program. So on the Friday, the 21st, this Friday, we have our award ceremony, and this starts at 7 p.m. We have 46 awardees in total, of which 30 constituencies highlight one of their bright stars and dedicated members to be celebrated. This includes the League of Young Socialists and the Women's League as well. Our highest party award is the Grantley Adams Award. We're also introducing a new award this year, which will be the Owen Arthur Award. And this award will be given to an individual in the St. Peter area and will be presented by his daughter. So at the award ceremony, we will have a special guest speaker. The guest speaker this year is Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, who is the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and he's the chairman of the Unity Labour Party. So we're very pleased to be able to host him this year as our guest speaker. On the Saturday, which is the 22nd, this is essentially what we call the party business of conference. Now, prior to conference, just want to go back a little bit. Prior to the conference, we've had a few pre-conference activities which were engineered by the conference committee to build camaraderie, togetherness, hype, build a vibe. And there were 3 karaoke lines, and the highlight of these pre-conference activities was a cricket match, which was played on Dover playing field Sunday gone. I would say, and I think that the rest of my colleagues and comrades would agree, it was very successful. We had a bumper crowd. The 2 teams that played were my comrade and colleague Corey Lane 11 and Dwight Sutherland. It was very hotly contested. I played on Corey's team, and we barely lost by 10 runs. So we had to lick our wounds a bit and also spread the Bengay's balsam. Spread it around very a lot. All yesterday, I was telling my comrade that even my finger was hurting. I didn't know that was possible. But what these pre-conference lines did, and it was beautiful, really. It really built up the energy and the momentum leading into this weekend. So I just wanted to mention that to everyone. But of course, on Saturday, the 22nd, it's not all fun and games. This is the day of what we call the party business. So what we would have is we would have reports which are given by the League of Young Socialists, which is our youth arm of the party. They will give a report. But also, we want to hear from the ministers. The members want to hear from the ministers on, obviously, the reformation process. So we will be hearing from ministers on infrastructure reform. We will hear from them on the social sectors. We will hear from them on health and wellness, which includes, as we transition from the battle against COVID-19 to fighting chronic NCDs, which obviously is a major issue in our country today. So we will hear from the minister responsible for that fight. and we will hear from the ministers responsible for welfare. Obviously, that is going to be very important going forward because, as my comrade Corey has said earlier, he's the parliamentary secretary for the Ministry of People Empowerment, that, you know, our Barbadians want to work. They don't want welfare. So the ministry has been spearheading the effort to be able to retrain and retool and give people the skills so that they can re-enter the world of work. So they're responsible for those reforms. And also you will hear from the Ministry of Home Affairs on the government industrial school matter. Now, in addition to that, this day is also the election of our officers. This year, we only have two positions that will be up for re-election. That is the second vice president, the second vice chair, and the third vice chair. So the other spots are will not be up for election. Those are unopposed. That will be the chairman of the party, which is the Honorable Mia Moore Motley. The first vice chairman is Comrade Kay McConney. The general secretary will be Comrade Jerome Walcott, and the treasurer is Comrade Davison Ishmael. So they will retain their posts. So we have that, and then on the third day, this day actually was left out of the last annual conference that we had, which was the 82nd annual conference, which was in 2020. At that time, we only had 2 days, largely because of COVID-19 as well. So we're very pleased to be able to say that we are adding back that day. That starts with a church service and worship. This is very important to us, and I can recall in 2019, which was the last time we had the church service, how I can remember remarking that it was just a beautiful time in the park, you know. So we've returned with that, and after that, we're gonna have the resolutions of the party, and what this is that each branch will put forward their resolutions, which the party will adopt, and you know, they can be anything from you know, the St. Michael West constituency, they want more street lights or speed bumps, or in the city of Bridgetown, they want to focus on having more housing, you know, for their people. Those sorts of issues we put forward, and also we'll be discussing on policy reform. After which, we will break for lunch and continue the fun and games and camaraderie and rubbing shoulders. Thank you again. That's it for my report.
Okay. At this time, we're going to hear from the CEO of the party, Senator Comrade Patricia Paris.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. Good morning to the members of the media, and I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to 111 Roebuck Street, and I'm doing so in my capacity as Chief Executive Officer. I am excited because we're having our 83rd annual conference in Queen's Park, and we will have over 1,100 delegates, and these delegates will include a delegation from the New York chapter and the UK branch. Like me, the delegates are eagerly looking forward to this year's conference because the conference chair would have said that we did not have a full conference since 2019. So it will be the first one since 2019. Our annual conference booklet this year will be over 100 pages. It is the first time that we will be having a booklet of this size. Happening at the annual conference as well, the new membership cards will be unveiled, and you can take a shot of the new membership cards, which we will allow you to see before you leave here this morning. We were able to, ahead of the annual conference, conduct all 30 AGMs for the branches, ahead, and we are looking forward to the annual conference, and you can expect a sea of red in Queen's Park. And we are painting the town red. Government has entered, what you will see on display in Queen's Park as well is the show house, which is being displayed, and this is the house through the National Housing Corporation. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, and it's 1-bedroom house, the hardwood houses, and it's being done with the assistance of the Guyana or friends in Guyana. And you can go to your credit unions if you come to the display, to the conference, and you see the house where you can speak to them on getting a mortgage, because it is in our quest of providing housing solutions for Barbadians. The highlight of the annual conference will be the feature address from our political leader and chairman and Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley, on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. in Queen's Park, and is open to the public. So, speaking to persons online, you can come down to Queen's Park, 4:30, to hear the Prime Minister's address. So, that is some of the highlights of the annual conference, and we are ready for this year's annual conference under the theme, Riding Rough Waves with Resilience. And we are ready. So I want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Comrade Paris. We will now go over to Comrade Corey Lane to ensure that we have permission to enter Queen's Park on Friday for the conduct of our conference. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Comrade Ricardo, CEO of the party, Comrade Patricia Paris, Conference Chairman, Comrade Chris Gibbs, President of the Barbados Women's League, Comrade Wendy Knight Hunt, fellow comrades, representatives of the press, the online family, ladies and gentlemen. I also have an abundance of pleasure and equal amount of pride and humility to accept the invitation to deliver some remarks at this morning's pre-conference press conference. Firstly, in my capacity of parliamentary representative for the city of Bridgetown, I am extremely happy to welcome my fellow members of the Barbados Labour Party to come to Queen's Park, the venue of the 83rd conference of our great party. Now, my task is really to hand over the keys, but I left the keys because the place ain't locked. My fellow members are always welcome to Queen's Park and to the city of Bridgetown. So I have the simple but pleasant task to briefly speak on the historic and ancestral significance of Queen's Park for the venue of this weekend's conference, and that I shall do. Indeed, being in Queen's Park is like a homecoming for the Barbados Labour Party. I believe the 2017 annual conference was there as well. So it's really a homecoming. Whenever we assemble in Queen's Park, which is at the heart of the constituency I have the immense pleasure to represent, we are symbolically kind of returning to our ancestral roots. And I'm going to lay out why I say so. You know, this was the home of the commander of the British troops. But more importantly and more significantly, this is also the location of some of our most epic pronouncements and political battles by our founding father and the founding fathers of the Barbados Labour Party, Sir Grantley Adams. I'm sure many of you all remember some of the epic battles that took place in Queen's Park. This location also reminds me, when you look back in the history, you read the history, our then fledgling party was determined to demonstrate that it was not prepared to back down to the then moneyed and repressive classes, as you remember, as we fought on behalf of the disadvantaged masses. And when you look at our mission and our tangible programs of today, you see that we are equally committed to that fight today as we were back then. Queen's Park has an added significance to the public. Strategically located a shout away from the Parliament buildings. And I want to underscore that. The Parliament buildings is a major symbol of our democratic right, our democratic society. People democratically go to the ballot. And how did they get there? If you think back, you would remember that that process began in earnest by winning universal adult suffrage back in 1951. A relentless assault on the undemocratic status quo of that time, led by our very own Sir Grantley Adams. It also has significance for me as Queen's Park was the place where the late, great Jamaican political activist Marcus Mosiah Garvey found comfort to be able to spread his message of liberation in Queen's Park when he visited Barbados in October 1937. So, Queen's Park, as you remember, opened as a national park in 1909 and is now part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site and part of the Greater Bridgetown and its garrison as part of that site. You remember that Prime Minister Motley also determined that she would like to see Queen's Park as the cultural hub of Bridgetown. And if you look around Queen's Park now, you see that that major redevelopment and repurposing is happening as we speak. It's only a few days ago that you would have learned that the Natural Cultural Foundation will make its home in Queen's Park. So I look forward to welcoming them to Queen's Park, and I also look forward to welcoming the Prime Minister and political leader, Mayor Amor Motley, and my fellow comrades to Queen's Park for the 83rd conference. See you there. Don't miss it or you diss it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so much for the introductory remarks. At this point, we'll have a Q&A session where members of the press can pose questions to the panel. And don't forget, after the Q&A, you're free to have an interview session with our new CEO, Senator Comrade Patricia Paris. So any questions, we'd be happy to entertain them at this point. No questions?
Yeah, my question would be for the CEO. Is this a new position?
Pat?
No, it is not a new position to the Barbados Labour Party, but we had a vacancy for over 15 years. We did not have a CEO on seat for the past 15 plus years.
And what is the role of the CEO?
The role of the CEO is to ensure that the party, that we work hand in hand with the constituency branches so that we are in a better position to meet the needs of the constituents and the people we serve.
Since you're on that topic, I know that during the elections, the Prime Minister would have wanted to foster a deeper relationship with the constituencies, right? And she had required for the MPs to spend X amount of time in each constituency. I just wanted to know how that process is going.
The process is going well, and part of my duty as CEO would be to ensure that the promise the Prime Minister made to the people of this country in terms of reporting and visibility and being able to go to your constituency branch for assistance will be done.
Any other questions? Everybody's all clear on the arrangements for a conference?
Have my three candidates already, first and second vice president.
How you wanna-
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, the chief executive, the party chairman, he said that we're contesting first and second positions. Second and third positions. The second vice chair, the candidates for the second vice chair. We have Senator Shanika Odell Roberts and Minister and Member of Parliament for St. Michael South, Honorable Kirk Humphrey. For third vice chair, we have Marcia Cattle, who is the Member of Parliament for St. Michael South Central, and Mr. Kurt Haynes. They are contesting for second and third as outlined. Kirk,
K-I-R-K.
K-U-R-T, Kurt Haynes,
In the back there.
in the back.
Right there, yeah.
And so it's Kurt Haynes and Marcia Cattle for third, and Kirk Humphrey, the MP and Minister, for second, along with Senator Shanika Roberts Odell.
Okay. That's it then? No further questions? Okay. Well, thank you all very much for coming, and we look forward to your continued cooperation. Thank you.
I know you coming to me.